All right, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, exciting time for you Packers fans. Jordan Love locked up, young, talented team. A lot of great rookies making a good name for themselves so far, but there's one in particular that's doing such a phenomenal job. Great sign for Green Bay. I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, look, when it comes to the Packers coming into this season, right, with Jordan Love, talented young core, LaFleur doing a great job, some key veterans, upgraded on the defensive side of the ball with the coaching staff, some great free agents as well. It looked like this team is 100% looking to improve off a 9-win regular season plus a big playoff victory. This was a team that was going to make a lot of noise in 2024. But on top of that, we're starting to see some steals, some big time, almost hidden gem kind of players emerging so far for the Green Bay Packers, making this good team even better. Let's get into this report, then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. This is courtesy of SI.com. Kalen King found himself practicing with the first team against Jordan Love late in Sunday's practice. That's impressive, of course. A seventh round pick this year, he did not waste any time. As Love looked to fire a pass, King got his hands on it and raced into the end zone. Talk about a first impression. Getting reps in the slot, which could be a position of need if Keyshawn Nixon struggles in coverage or the All Pro is deemed too valuable with the league's new kickoff rules, which I think is probably what's going to happen, is valuable for King. I think he's a guy that we saw on tape that has versatility to him, Halfley said. In college, he played inside, he played outside. We're trying to figure out other guys that can go inside. You have to have that versatility, and he's the guy right now. We believe he can do some of those things, so we'll keep working him in and mixing him around. All right, Kalen King was one of these kind of afterthought guys, well, at least in a lot of people's minds when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. Potential draft steal when they picked him up. Now he's living up to that hype and more. It looks like he's going to be a really great find for the Green Bay Packers. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. But first, Packers fans, in the comment section below, obviously training camp here, a lot of excitement, a lot of juice. Regular season is not far away. Give us the one game, the one matchup you're looking forward to this season more than any other. Is it a division rivalry game? Is it a rematch game? Is it against a team you really don't play that much that you're excited to see? Maybe it's a game you're going to. Whatever it is, give us the one matchup this year you're really excited more than any other and put it in the comment section below. And while you're down there, make sure you check out our affiliate link for our recommended book to get you ready for this upcoming season in the description below, and that is Playmakers by Mike Florio. It's a great read. Obviously, I'm not just saying that. I bought the book. It's a good read. My co-host bought it as well. Highly recommend it. If you buy it, make sure you use our affiliate link again in the description below. Takes you right to Amazon, helps us out, doesn't cost you anything extra. So please use that if you choose to buy the book. It is a great read, though, so we highly recommend it. But Mize, let me throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on this Packers rookie emerging as a steal here?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is really big for the Packers because in the article, it brings it up a little bit, talking about Nixon, talking about his abilities to time as an all pro return. Man, this guy is really valuable in special teams. And to be quite honest, when you talk about a slot corner, he's been okay. He's not been great. He's had one really good year in 2021. Outside of that, mediocre to bad years. So I think it's really interesting that now we have, like you said, the outside guy, the afterthought, the Kalen King coming in and really kind of shaking the game up, being like, hey, this guy can play the real deal. And the part I love is that when you're given these first team reps, you come in and you probably thinking to yourself, oh, okay, now's my time to shine. What does he do? Gets a pick six, runs, takes it, runs it all the way back. Like they said, what a first impression, what a great showing by King just to show, hey, I'm the real deal. I can make some plays. And another aspect of King I like is something that we've seen a lot of teams looking at lately, especially teams that are championship caliber teams like the Packers, teams that are going to make the playoffs, teams that really are doing a lot of good things. They get guys that are versatile, guys that play inside, outside, so they can bring them onto this roster and show them play. They can have them play wherever they need them to fit in. Is it the case that, Stokes, he was in this article as well as a guy who's kind of raised his game. He had a couple down years. This offseason, Stokes is looking a lot better. So then you look, slot, Nixon. This is a guy, is he valuable enough to just have as a return man? 2 all pro seasons? Probably so. This is probably a guy that when you look at him, you think Nixon, I think we should just keep him as a return guy. Don't risk him getting hurt in the game. Don't get him too tired. Taking snaps at slot corner. If King can come in and take over this role, I think this would be great for the Packers. And I think just in general, we're seeing the Packers lately. They've done such a phenomenal job of getting new guys into the system early on and being hits right as they get drafted. This youth movement in Green Bay is due to this ability. And I think King is potentially the next guy in line to really jump in and start contributing as a rookie.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said there, but let's back it up there, 2.5 months now to May 9th. This is the headline on ESPN.com. Why Packers Kalen King may be the biggest steal of the draft, right? This was 2.5 months ago. This was just as, post-draft, rookie mini camps just beginning, things like that. No one had really seen what Kalen King was going to do, right? At that time, the thought was, well, he was a guy that coming out of Penn State for most of his career, a lot of people thought he had, high first round potential talent. Didn't work out that way. He fell to the seventh round. And based on that alone, and based on a lot of the Penn State coaching staff saying, listen, this guy is a stud. We don't know why he fell to the seventh round. You got a lot of people saying maybe Kalen King could be a big stud. Maybe, right? First round potential, fell to the seventh round. That maybe I think is getting warped away very quickly because he's coming in and making plays. And it's one thing to make a pick six against a third string quarterback, right? It's one thing to make a pick six against the backup. But when it's Jordan Love, obviously a very good quarterback in his own right, that sends a message, right? And you better believe that the entire coaching staff and the entire team noticed it. That's a guy who can make plays against the first string. That's not a guy who can maybe make the roster, maybe make some special teams plays here or there, maybe be a depth guy if injuries really hit you hard. That's a guy who can be a real player for you, a guy who can step up in those moments and be clutch, a guy who's not afraid to compete and back and won't back down. And I remember Kalen King watching him at Penn State. I'm a Big Ten guy, so I watched a lot of Penn State football over the past couple of years. And I remember the bowl game that they had against Ole Miss. Kalen King sit out of that game. And Penn State's defensive secondary, they locked a lot of people down over the course of the past couple seasons. And Ole Miss came into that game and they absolutely decimated Penn State without Kalen King playing. They literally threw against all of Penn State's corners like it was nothing. They basically changed their entire game plan and wrecked Penn State because of Kalen King not being there. That's the impact that King had on a top 25 program. He completely turned a quality defense into total garbage with him not being there. When I saw that and looking at this report now, I'm like, okay, this is a guy who changes a defense. His presence changes the math. Obviously, college is certainly different than the National Football League. I don't know if Kalen King will have as big an impact for Green Bay as he did with Penn State. Probably not. But the reality is he is an impactful player. And I think it's very clear to me when you factor all these reports together and just look at the evidence, the Packers probably did pull off the biggest steal of the 2024 draft.